This might be my most controversial video. It's not one that I want to be political, but instead educational and thought-provoking. I hope that you come to this topic with an open mind and with a conversation mentality, because it's very hard to think about these topics without attaching your predetermined beliefs. And if you can get beyond that and just watch this video and actually have a conversation, I think you'd find that we all want the same thing. This is a non-political talk about immigration. So first things first, you gotta remember that America was built by immigrants. But if you think the process of coming here is easy, you're in for a reality check. Despite the headlines, the truth that becoming a US citizen or even getting a visa is one of the most complicated and expensive processes in the world. And I wanted to talk about the realities of the hidden struggles that immigrants face, from legal barriers, financial roadblocks, to social challenges. As a first-generation immigrant myself, I've seen it firsthand. And after countless conversations with others in the same boat, it's time to break down the myths and expose the real cost of the so-called land of opportunity. For people who think immigrants just show up and stay, let's set the record straight. To legally immigrate to the US, you typically need one of the following: family sponsorship, which is having immediate family in the US, employment sponsorship, or a company willing to hire and sponsor you. By the way, this is pretty rare. Refugee or asylum status, diversity lottery visa, which is limited to a handful of countries and only around 55,000 people a year, or investor visas, which you need $800,000 plus to invest in a US business. The odds of you getting in? Not great. According to the US Department of State, over 4 million people are currently waiting in visa backlogs, with wait times ranging from 3 to 23 years depending on the visa type and country of origin. Even my dad applied twice in the 90s to come to the US from Russia and was denied both times despite paying the application fees and having no criminal record. Meanwhile, K-1 fiancé visas are processed faster and often with fewer questions. That's why you hear stories of people getting married as a loophole. Is it ethical? Probably not. But when the system blocks nearly every other avenue, it's often the only viable option. And that leads me into the hidden cost of legal immigration. For example, if you want to apply for a visa, you better have some money and lots of it. A standard green card application can cost upwards of $1,760, not including any attorney fees. Work visas like the H-1B require employers to pay $2,500 plus just to file. So again, unlikely. Investor visas, you're looking at that $800,000 to $1 million in capital investment. So the entry fee for that is very, very limited. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: wages. In countries like Venezuela, for example, the average monthly salary is around $150. In Nigeria, $45. Saving enough money for even a visa application could take years. And that's assuming you aren't spending money on essentials like food and shelter, which who's doing that? The reality is legal immigration favors the wealthy or highly educated, not the people who need opportunity the most. The US touts itself as the land of opportunity, but in practice, it's the land of show me the money first. And look, I get it. There's a lot of misconceptions about immigrants. And here's the argument that you always hear: immigrants are criminals or they're stealing jobs. Let's break that down with actual hard evidence. First things first, we're going to talk about crime rates. Multiple studies, including those from Cato Institute, show that immigrants, both legal and undocumented, commit crimes at lower rates than native-born citizens. 2, job competition. Immigrants often take jobs that Americans are unwilling to do: agriculture, construction, and low-wage service positions. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, industries with heavy immigration labor suffer severe worker shortages even when unemployment is high. And 3, economic contribution. Immigrants contribute approximately $2 trillion to the US GDP every year. In fact, immigrants and their children have founded over 40% of Fortune 500 companies. Yeah, the biggest companies out there. Here's the kicker: the people coming to do harm, they already have ways to bypass legal immigration channels. Smugglers, traffickers, and criminals exploit holes in the system that wouldn't be fixed by restricting regular immigration. Meanwhile, those seeking a better life are stuck in bureaucratic limbo. And for those worried about national security, the US military and intelligence agencies have some of the most advanced vetting processes in the world. They aren't losing sleep over families fleeing poverty. Of course, getting here, even outside of the actual costs and restrictions, there's also the social challenges. Legal or not, once immigrants arrive, the challenges don't stop. Like, for example, bullying and discrimination. A Pew Research survey found that 1 in 3 immigrants report facing discrimination due to their background. Children of immigrants are often bullied in schools for accents, clothing, or even the food they bring to lunch. There's also job struggles. Even highly skilled immigrants struggle to get hired. Many companies require US experience, effectively disqualifying foreign applicants. Degrees from outside the US are often undervalued or dismissed entirely. And there's of course cultural barriers. Learning a new language, adjusting to different social norms, and building a network from scratch isn't easy. It's mentally exhausting and emotionally draining. training. Yet despite all of this, immigrants persist. They open businesses, send their kids to college, and contribute to local communities. They embody the very ideals America claims to stand for: resilience, hard work, and hope. So what actually happens if we open the door just a little wider? Well, first things first, we're gonna have a boost in the economy. Increasing legal immigration by even 1% could add over $100 billion annually to the US economy, according to the National Bureau of Economic Research. It also fills the labor gaps. You see, the US is projected to face a labor shortage of 6.5 million workers by 2030. Immigrants could fill these gaps, supporting industries like healthcare, agriculture, and tech. It's also going to fuel innovation and growth. Immigrant-founded companies drive innovation. Think Google, Tesla, and Apple, all companies with immigrant ties. And at the end of the day, America was built on immigrants. And if history tells us anything, embracing them isn't just morally right, it's economically smart. So it's like, what are we doing? I think isn't actually the problem. The system is. The more we understand the challenges immigrants face, the closer we get to actually fixing a broken process that holds back not just individuals, but the country as a whole. And if you've made it this far, I want to thank you for listening to the perspective of someone who's actually lived it and pursuing the American dream. Remember that the American dream should be for everyone. At least that's what I think, and that's what our country was founded on. Not just the ones who can afford the ticket in and are lucky enough to get accepted. I hope this sheds a light and maybe even a new perspective for those watching, and I think if we shared this message across the board to more and more people, we'd have a better understanding, not just of the problems and the solutions that we might have for those problems, but also the individuals who are actually going through this process. I hope this video helps, and if you want to see more videos like this where I talk about actual problems facing America or facing the world, and in a way that also talks about money and business and all that, hit the subscribe button, and of course, leave a comment about what you think about immigration, and if any of this changed your mind, or maybe helped you understand what immigration and America is all about. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Also, YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy one of these two videos as well.